Hey guys, Marmalade here. What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. I thought I put this video together. It's actually kind of a fun topic, but actually informative. And I actually didn't really consider it that informative because it is about luxury items. What do you consider a luxury item? What do I consider a luxury item? It's all subjective. And I was going to just kind of put together a video when it was kind of like what I currently consider luxury items that I could maybe do without. Some of them I don't think I can, but just I put a list together and then maybe past stuff. But then I placed this question on a couple of the PCT Facebook groups and got a really great response. And it's really funny what some people consider a luxury item and what people don't. So I think I'll go over what I currently consider are somewhat luxury items that I could possibly do without. Some of the things I used in the past, I have some of them with me I can kind of show you. And then I'll go over some of the things that I got from the Facebook groups and the PCT Facebook groups. So stick with me to the end. I also have a kind of a short announcement at the end, so stay to the end. But let's get on with it. Luxury items. And before I go over the list, as I said, some people, it's all subjective. Some people will consider some of these things on my list, and I actually do too, probably a necessity. I've got my kit down so light that I feel like I can bring a couple things to make myself more comfortable, but let's go over with my list. I'm gonna actually use my cheat sheet and just read it to you and show you some of these things. Number one is my Nemo pillow, and some people can just use a stuff sack and throw extra clothes in there and kind of make it. I've tried doing that and I never slept well. So my new Nemo pillow is right here, and I actually got the little, it's called the Philo Elite. I'll put it in text right here. The Philo Elite. I bought this Sierra's, was my first time using it. I loved it. I put this buff over it to keep it as clean as a like a pillowcase. But why I like it is, let's blow this up real quick. I'll show you. I don't like a real fat pillow. And I also wanted it rectangle so the buff would stay on there. Only took 3 puffs, which I like. And like I said, I don't like a super thick one, so I would say this is about 8 inches by maybe 10 or 12. So for me, it's just the right size, and it's not a lot of extra pillow that I'm carrying or packing away or not using when I'm laying on. They make much bigger pillows, but you don't really need a big giant pillow like you would at home. So anyway, that's one of them. All right, this is something new for me, but it's a Rawology cork ball, and this is for massaging mostly your feet, but you can do legs or hips or whatever. This is a new, it's very light. It's the size of just a fraction bigger than a golf ball, but it doesn't weigh much at all. I don't actually know the weight, but that's definitely something as I get older and I have soreness that can help massage out. So this is a great thing right here. For me, this is essential because when I hike, I wear short, like running type of shorts. I don't wear an extra pair of underwear. I have the mesh underwear inside, so I must have the Body Glide. And one of the keys that I do is I had the blue. They make different colors for different things. So you see this is Cycle. I used to use the blue. It was like ointment or cream, and it was just really messy and then hard to get out as the tube got lower. This is a stick like deodorant. So I just use that. Helps me without chafing and all that, and just really helps. And it's the Cycle one. I got a tip from a cyclist that this works better than the blue Body Glide that's for hiking. So that's a pro tip from Mike. All right, something that I never show my kit. It's kind of personal, and mine's a little bit older, so you know it does get cleaned out, but it's not great looking. So I'm gonna put a picture of it here. But it's my pee bottle, but it's a Nalgene. I got it on Amazon. It's a Nalgene, and it's considered a canteen, but it folds up. It literally weighs like 1.5 ounces, but I love it. It doesn't take up the space like some men use a Gatorade bottle. I like that it has a larger lid that's easier to use, especially in the middle of the night when it's dark. And it has a connector on there, so when you take the lid off, and if you do your business, you can find it. You don't have to put it in your tent, try to find it in the dark, so you just screw it back on. And I like that it's very light, very compact when I'm not using it when I'm hiking. And the reason why I do this is I just found that as I get older, you know, men tend to go to the bathroom a little bit more as they get older, and I just don't want to get out 2 or 3 or 4 times a night in the freezing cold to go do my business, get back in the tent. I'm a very light sleeper, so for me, staying warm in my quilt, if I can kind of roll over, I have a system I do, you know, but you just have to be careful. But you know, you can pee in that, screw it on there, and then go back to sleep, and I tend to fall right back to sleep. So that's why I do the way I do it instead of getting up and going out and peeing in the woods. All right, so another one is the Z-Seat pad. I think most people have these. It doesn't weigh much at all. Just love this, especially sitting on rocks and wood, and actually when it's muddy or dirty, things like that, it kind of keeps your pants or your shorts, I wear shorts, cleaner, so that's a necessity. Another one is, this doesn't weigh much, but I usually bring this all the time, is a head net for the mosquitoes. They will drive you nuts. When I was on a long trail in Vermont, it was black flies, but either way, gnats, could be anything. This will save your sanity for sure. A couple more things that I bring, I don't have one of them with me, is KT tape and also compression socks. Now, if you guys followed me on my thru hike at all, but In the desert, I got shin splints in one of my legs, and I had to hike about, I don't even know, it was pretty painful, about 70 miles to Big Bear. And then I finally got to a sporting goods store, Big Five, and I bought some compression socks, KT tape, put pressure, and now I always carry about 6 or 8 strips of KT tape in a Ziploc bag. It's in my first aid kits, which I don't have right here. And then I always carry these all the time. This actually may save my health. When I broke my ankle in Washington and had to hike close to 100 miles out in the wilderness, my ankle would swell up. I would hike all day, and then by the end of the day, my ankle was thrashed. I'd put these on, lay in my bed, get my feet elevated, put my pack under my air mattress, get my swollen leg up, and get the blood out of there. And it seemed like every day that refreshed my leg, it still was killing me, and it was still pretty swollen, but it would get a lot of the blood out of my leg. And some people told me that I helped with the circulation, and that helped get out of there instead of having not having these at all. So I carry them all the time. They don't weigh hardly anything. They don't take much space. But I've used them now twice on the trail, and you wouldn't think you would, but I used them for shin splints and then when I broke my left ankle. So yeah, I always bring these with me. All right, another one is my Zero camp shoes. I have them like this so that if I want to wear socks at night and it's cold, I can put socks on them instead of having the kind where your toes go like on normal flip-flops. I have it like this. I originally bought them actually for stream crossing, but I found that especially like I just came out of the Sierras and there were so many stream crossings, and most of them, the water was low, so I didn't have to get my feet wet. I could just go on the rocks, but I found that it's easier and it saves a lot of time just to walk through the water with my trail runner. So these end up just being my town shoe and my camp shoe, but yeah, I really love these. They're very thin. I actually put them in a very thin, light plastic bag, both of these in there, and wrap them up and put them in my backpack just so they don't get everything else dirty. But yeah, those are my Zero town shoes. All right, and the last two things that I currently bring, depending on the trip, is my cook kit. And most people say, well, that's normal, isn't it? I mean, isn't that what everybody brings? But not really. I have friends, and I have cold soak before. This would be the lighter, more minimalistic way to do it. But the cook kit is kind of a luxury to have either hot coffee or I like having a hot meal every evening. So I splurge with that, and that is a decent amount of weight and size space that it takes up. And then the other thing is something new I have, which is this Hyperlight cook bag, because I cook everything in freezer quartz bags, and I found that sometimes it takes 10 minutes for a meal to cook, and by then if you're out in the wilderness it's cold before when the bag is sitting by itself. So you put it in here. This has worked out really well from Hyperlight, and I think it's called Repack. But anyway, so far it's pretty new for me. I had it in the Sierras and I really liked it, and so that's another thing that I splurged. This only weighs like an ounce, so you know, it folds up really small, so that's not a big deal to carry. But yeah, those are mostly the things I bring now on an everyday basis. Let's go into some of the things I brought in the past that doesn't mean I won't ever use them again, but I don't currently bring them out. All right, one of the first things I used to bring when I was a beginner is one of these Lucy lights. You've probably seen them. They compress down. I just blew it up so you can see the whole size of it. It's solar, so it's great. You can actually, when you compress this down, you can hang it on a carabiner on your pack, and it can just charge up from solar. It doesn't use much. It can float on water. I've used it instead of a headlamp to walk if it's a campground where there's bathrooms or I need to go find a bathroom. This really works well, or just to light your tent. This is the bigger one. It's pretty old. I've had this forever. It has different settings on it. They make a smaller one if you were interested in one of these. You can get them at REI or get them online on Amazon. But yeah, I don't bring this anymore, but I still use it. I use it for car camping, so that's good. One of the things, if you watched my thru hike, I did bring this. I did this completely wrong. I didn't bring this on the desert section of my thru hike in 19, but then when I got to Oregon, or excuse me, to Washington, where there was a lot of cloud cover and a lot of trees and shade, I brought a solar panel. This is called a Suntactics. It's pretty nice. You can check it out. I think I have a link down in my Amazon affiliate links down below. I'm gonna double check, but I think in case you wanted to buy this. But how this works is, it folds up. It's very light. It folds up. It's got 2 solar panels there, and then essentially just this plug here. You plug the cord into, and you generally do not want to plug your phone directly into it, so I just put my battery packs into it. So let's say you're on a 5 or even a weekend trip, you could bring a smaller battery and just top this off. And so what I did was, I change this all the time, but I've got a little bit of paracord and 4 really small light carabiners, and I actually just strap this. Once you get your pack all packed away, I just actually clip this on top of my pack so it's facing up. And then what I did was the cord just went into my stretchy pouch behind me, and that's where I plugged in my battery. And it worked really well. The top off, let's say I would use maybe 20% of my battery, rechargeable battery, like my Anchor battery every day. That was kind of, it doesn't draw a huge amount of charge, but it would top off the battery every day, so that's great. I did tweak it. I caught in Washington, I caught it on a branch or something, and it kind of tore the cord, so I didn't have the right cord anymore to charge. So I So I really couldn't use this at this point. And I was out in the middle of the wilderness, so I couldn't get another cord. So, but anyway, Sun Tactics. It's really nice, and it's also laminated, so it's waterproof. So even if it's on your pack and it's plastic, this is plastic, but if it were to rain on it, it would still work. So yes, solar panel. I actually briefly looked. My next one is my Kindle. I bring that even to this day on kind of the weekend trips or like 2 days. Maybe I go out to the PCT locally for a couple days. I'll bring my Kindle and read. So it's very flat. I mean, it's basically essentially the size of this thing. I have a little case over it, but it's pretty light. But I like to bring that sometimes. I wouldn't bring it on a through hike, of course. So, and I should mention, some of these things are going to be what you would bring on a weekend, but you would never bring a through hike, and vice versa. So just keep this in mind. This is interesting. I brought whiskey out before, and they make these bags. I have 2 sizes by Hydropack. So I have my same water filter bag that's gray by Hydropack. These are, you don't have to put whiskey in them, you can put anything in them, but yeah, these are really nice if you don't want to carry a lot of weight, and when you're done drinking it, you don't have a physical big container to have to, like a Gatorade bottle to put back in your pack. These swoosh down real small, and they're very light, so by Hydropack. All right, the last 2 things that I don't really bring anymore, and I was guilty of, you know how you pack for your fears. I always still kind of bring too much food, but I used to bring way too much clothes. So I don't want to give you any examples, but yeah, I've slimmed down on the clothes. I've got my layering system down. What I hike in, I always bring an extra pair of shorts for town clothes when I'm doing laundry. But yeah, I don't bring too much clothes anymore. And the last thing, which is getting really popular, is a Helinox 1 pound, I think it's 15 ounce chair. So I bought, even to save some weight on Light AF, I ordered the bag. The bag it comes with is only like 4 ounces, but this is only 1 ounce, so I saved 3 ounces on the chair. Yeah, so I bring this sometimes, and these are becoming more and more popular. Even on through hikes, some people are saying, you know what, if I get my gear light enough, I can splurge and have a chair, because there's so many times, especially me being tall, it's hard to sit on short, small things that are like little rocks and it's hard for me because I'm so tall. So having a chair would be awesome. So yeah, I'm growing to really appreciate and like this. But yeah, so those are things that I do bring this sometimes, but that I no longer bring. But so next, let's go over what people on the kind of survey I did on Facebook told me, and I'm just going to read these because in no particular order, but it's pretty interesting stuff. Let's go over this real quick. Fly fishing rod, and then a small journal or notepad, a Gatorade bottle for peeing, an actual book, like there's a book that I read, Pacific Crest Trials, really good book if you want to read that. So it's people actually bringing books. How about iPod for music, KT tape I already mentioned, the Lucy solar light. This is what other people said. So they've said some of the same things that I use. A full-size camera. You guys know I use my my iPhone 11 Pro, and it does a great job. Probably overwhelming, the #1 thing that I found on all the surveys, and I actually should probably put on my list because I do bring it once in a while, is wet wipes. Because there's many times you dry camp and you don't have a river. I normally have a secondary black bandana so I can just scrub the trail off of me, but a lot of times you don't. So wet wipes are great. They're a little heavy if you get a bigger pack, so that's the only negative to it. Down booties, if you've ever seen those, like Z-Packs and some of those companies sell them, it's just to keep your feet warm at night, but down booties. Closed cell foam pad, you see a lot, you know, one of these, but full size, that goes under your quilt or air mattress to keep it protected, a little warmer. Fuzzy sleep socks, whiskey, some people brought honey, all kinds of odds and ends kind of food like that. This is interesting, titanium chopsticks. So they wanted to eat with chopsticks, but they wanted it to be light. Battery powered string lights for your tent for a little ambiance. Small watercoloring kit. I'm not talented enough to paint, but I'm impressed with that. I wish I could. So that's kind of most of the main ones. A lot of them are repetitive. The wet wipes, like I said, was by far the #1. So tell me what you think of my list, and what are yours? What are your luxury items? I want to know and hear what you do or don't bring anymore, those kind of things. Also, I have some ideas for some upcoming videos, but let me know if you'd like to see some videos on some topics. I've got a couple ideas, but let me know what you'd like to hear or see or find out about. That would help me out. I've already, like I said, got a couple other ideas, but I'd love to know what you think. So I don't really push this too much, but I really want to make another push for, if you haven't subscribed with me, when I look at the stats for my channel, it's so strange. I mean, I'm getting up to right around 3,700 subscribers, which I think for an old guy hiking is really good. But it's something like crazy, like 80% of the people that watch me are not subscribed. And So please subscribe, like, hit the, really important, hit the notification bell in the upper right by the subscribe button. That'll let you know every single time I post a video. And why I'm asking you these is they're free. They cost you nothing. There's skin off your back. If a video comes up and it's not a topic for me that you want to see, just let it go. But it would really help us if you like the video for searchability, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you're subscribed and you haven't hit the notification bell, do that. The last thing is, I've got some pretty big news in a direction that I'm going to go with my channel. I'm still always going to do the backpacking, not always, but maybe when I get to be 80 or 90 I won't, but I'm always going to be doing hikes. I've got something planned maybe for a week. I don't know yet. It depends on the weather and things like that, but I've got a pretty big announcement of something new that I'll be venturing into along with what I've already doing. So if you guys would mind going down to the description box below in this video, it's in every single one, and look at my Patreon account. And I've asked before, and I always get a couple, but I always seem to lose some, so I've kind of stayed at the same number forever. But it's a very inexpensive way of supporting my channel, and especially with my big announcement, it will really help me do what my plans are in the future. So if you could check it out, I think you can support the channel monthly, up even as low as $2, and you can write it off. So like, check it out. You can go, you can donate as much as you want, but it's very reasonable, and you can help support what I do here. Also, I have a merch site that I don't really push much, but the links are down below for that. And I may be rebranding and getting some new logos, but I have that nice marmalade logo if you'd like to get some, everything from t-shirts to hoodies to, there's women's tights and there's mugs and all kinds of stuff, cell phone covers. So go check that out. That helps. I get a percentage of that. And the last thing is the Amazon affiliate link. I don't make much money on it, and I've actually got to redo this. I've been gone in the Sierras, as you know. I've got to go through all the links. A few of them are no good anymore because things change, or the people that sell on Amazon stop carrying something. But we get a percentage, and it doesn't cost you any extra. If you need a headlamp, go on there and get a headlamp. It's the same headlamp I use. It's all things that I either use or have used or believe in. And it's mostly stuff that I have or have had and that I think is good quality. And it doesn't cost you any, it's what it costs you anyway on Amazon, but because I sent you there, I get a small percentage. That just helps out. And all these things will add up, especially for this new venture that I'm going to start doing. So if you have time, go check it out in the description box below. It'll be in every video. And like I said, I hope this was kind of fun and informative. I found that some people really thanked me on Facebook for bringing up the subject. I thought it was kind of a fluffy topic, luxury items, but it was really interesting. A lot of people maybe didn't consider it luxury and it was, or vice versa. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you down below. Let me know what you thought and ideas for videos, that kind of stuff. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and check all the links below. That would help me out. And until next time, we'll definitely see you down the trail.